Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Lukeness Monster, and in today's video we're going to be going over the worst to first Black Series Clone Troopers. Now this is a yearly series that I do, starting back in 2020. We do have the 2020 and now the updated 2021 version, and now this is the 2022 version. And since last year we've actually gotten quite a bit of clones added to the list. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Real quick though, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to go down, hit that like button, and subscribe. It helps me out on the channel a whole lot more than you guys actually know. I do really appreciate it. And plus, we're actually doing a giveaway at 7,000 subscribers. We're giving away this Mando Build-Up Pack. You do actually have to be subscribed to the channel though to enter, so make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and the giveaway is pretty simple. Once we hit 7K, I'll release a giveaway video. All you have to do is comment on that video to enter. Pretty simple, so go down, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's go on to the list. So I do want to state a few rules regarding the list before I do get into it. So obviously there have been some clone troopers that have been announced that haven't been officially released yet, and some of those I'm actually including on the list, but only if they are exact repaints. For example, the Walgreens 187th Battalion Trooper is an exact repaint of the new clone body, so like the only thing that's different is the paint, and we can physically see the paint. You don't have to have it in hand to judge it, and so because of that, a figure like that will be on the list. But a few figures like Fixer or Sev are not on the list because they actually do include new molds and new pieces that we haven't seen on any other figure yet, and you can't really judge that until you have it in hand. And so because of that, those figures will not be on the list. And regarding those rules, there are actually 40 clones in the Black Series that we will be ranking worst to first. And 40 clones is a ton of clones. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I don't want this to be a super long video, so each description and the rank is going to be somewhat short, just so this isn't a 45-minute video. Coming in at the number 40 spot, I put the Holiday Trooper. This is an interesting figure, but it just kind of sucks overall. One, it's on the old clone body, which means it has awful articulation, and two, it's a holiday clone. I don't know. It's cool for a Christmas display or something like that, but for a practical clone, it just looks kind of silly. Coming in at number 39 is actually the Clone Lieutenant. This was a Walgreens exclusive, and it does have a few problems with it. For one, it's on the old clone body, which means articulation is horrible, and two, the color blue is just inaccurate. The Walgreens made it like a dark blue, and it should be a lighter blue. So just because of that, the paint is inaccurate, and it does tend to fall down to the bottom of the list. Coming in at the number 38 spot, we actually gave it to the original Phase 1 Clone Trooper. This was one of the first figures in the Black Series, and for its time, it was pretty good, but we've gotten updated versions of the Phase 1 since then. Like I said, it's just on the plain old clone body. Articulation sucks, and since it is just the plain Phase 1, the paint is kind of boring, so because of that, it does tend to rank lower on the list. Coming at the number 37 spot is actually the Clone Sergeant. This is an exact repaint of the plain white version, but with obviously some green markings. The reason this one got so low is just because the green markings, they're accurate to the film. I'm just not a huge fan of the green. It's like a barf green, and I'm just not a huge fan of that shade of color. And because of that, it does rank lower than some of the other figures, just because I think the other figures are cooler. And the number 36 spot is the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. I do like the Phase 2 helmet much more than I do the Phase 1 helmet, but like I said, it's on the old clone body, and the articulation, it sucks. And then like I said also, all plain white is just kind of boring compared to some of the other figures on the list. So he comes in at the number 36 spot. And at the number 35 spot is the Clone Commander. This is another Phase 1 trooper with different colored markings. This one is one of the better ones of those Phase 1 troopers, but I just think it's not as cool as the Captain, so because of that, it does rank below it, but the yellow markings are pretty cool. But like I said, it does suffer from the old clone body. Speaking of the Clone Captain, coming in at number 34 is the Clone Captain. I do like his colors the most out of all the Phase 1 troopers. I think that like dark red, burgundy, maroon kind of color just fits super well. It looks awesome, and it's definitely the best of the Phase 1 looking troopers, so he comes in at the number 34 spot. Coming in at the number 33 spot is going to spark some controversy, but I actually put the ARC Trooper Captain, or ARC Trooper Fordo, whatever you want to call him. This was part of the Tartakovsky Clone Wars line, and I made an entire rant video talking about this, and I think it's cool for what it is, but it's just inaccurate. It's not like the Tartakovsky Fordo. Hasbro just repainted the ARC Trooper and called it Fordo, and it really isn't Fordo. The armor's inaccurate, and I'm fine with them doing a realistic version of him, but if they were going to do a realistic version, they should have painted him. Like, the chest is all white, and the ankles are all white, and they should have painted that gray, because like I said, I'm fine with them doing realistic versions of characters like this, but they gotta go the full mile and not leave it unpainted. Coming in at the number 32 spot is actually the 442nd Trooper. This is the first figure on this list from the Order 66 4-pack. This is a very expensive 4-pack, and it was pretty hard to come by. And now it's, like I said, just very expensive on the aftermarket. And the reason that this one got so low is I just think it's the worst looking one of all of the other Order 66 4-pack clones. It's just an interesting color green, and the thing is, this is a battalion that Hasbro actually made up. So this is not a canon figure, I guess you could say. So it doesn't really have a clone commander to go with. Obviously, you can put him with Gree because they're both green and they look good together. But in all reality, he doesn't have his own battalion. Coming in at the number 31 spot, I gave it to the Shock Trooper from the Order 66 4-pack. This one looks awesome. You know, one thing I gotta give these old Order 66 4-pack figures, the paint is amazing. Like, the detail, the scuffing, the weathering, all of it is awesome. It looks incredible, and it just doesn't stand up to today's standards. Today's standards, like, they give paint chipping, but there's not scuffing and weathering, and those older paint jobs look incredible. So much better than some of the newer ones, but where it falls flat is the articulation. Like I said, it's on the old clone body, and it just suffers so much from that. You can barely get it into a gun-holding pose. At the number 30 spot, I actually gave it to the 212th from the Order 66 4-pack. This is the one that I do really, really like. I'm a huge 212th fan, and this one just looks really good. I love the yellow colors, I love the design, the scuffing, all that stuff. Paint is amazing, but again, it suffers from the old clone body. And coming in at the number 29 spot, the last one from the Order 66 4-pack, it is the 501st Trooper. This one, I think, looks the best out of the Order 66 4-pack, and plus, it's the most iconic. Everybody knows 501st, and everybody loves it. And of course, it did get an archive release this year, so really happy about that. So it's not super expensive on the aftermarket like the other ones, but it's incredible. Like I said, it just suffers from the old clone body. At the number 28 spot is actually the Elite Squad Trooper. This is an interesting figure because it is the first ever like mishmash clone trooper from Hasbro. The waist up is the new clone body and the waist down is the old clone body. Really interesting, and I think it worked out pretty well. The problem is the paint apps. It's just not accurate to the show. The show has like a darker gray stripe going down the figure, and it's just not on the actual figure. The figure's all one solid color, and it's a very glossy color, whereas it should be a more matte color with that stripe. It just doesn't work out super well, and then he should have different weapons, and they just didn't give him the right weapons. So because of that, he is a little bit lower on the list. Coming in at the number 27 spot, this one also might spark some controversy, but I'm giving it to Commander Cody. I love Commander Cody, and you know, back in the day, this was a very, very expensive figure. But he just doesn't live up to today's standards. He was one of the first clones ever in the Black Series, and like I said, he just doesn't live up to today's standards. He's on the old clone body, and I do love the figure, but he does have his flaws here and there. I think for what he is, and for the time he came out, he was amazing. And honestly, I still think paint apps wise, he lives up to today's standards. He looks incredible, but he's just not as good as some of the other clones on this list. So I decided to put him a little bit lower. I still absolutely love the figure though, so you know, like, just because he's a little lower on the list doesn't mean I hate it. I still love the figure, but he just doesn't live up to some of the other ones. In the number 26 spot is actually Commander Gree. I love Commander Gree as well. I just think compared to Commander Cody, Gree has better paint apps. He has the amazing camo look. He has the nice silver metallic paint underneath as well. Like, they did him right paint apps wise. If he was on the new clone body, he would be in the top 10, no question. But like I said, he's on the old clone body. He suffers from terrible articulation, but paint apps wise, he is awesome. I love the shiny silver and the camo green. It's incredible. Awesome clone altogether. Just bad articulation. Then coming in at the number 25 spot, I gave it to Commander Fox. I do think he is one of the better looking commanders on that old clone body. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the nostalgia that I have from buying that figure, considering he was one of my first figures. but I absolutely love the Fox figure. I know people hate his character, but the Fox figure is great. I think by far he is one of the best paint apps wise compared to some of the clones. For how new he is, he has all the scuffing and the weathering, and it looks great on that figure. Articulation sucks though. Like I said, biggest problem is articulation. Coming in the number 24 spot is the Phase 1 new Clone Trooper body. This one is really cool. Like I said, it's pretty boring though. No paint apps at all. It's just that all white color. But it is on the new clone body, which means he has amazing articulation. I know the new body's not perfect, but it's definitely better than the original clone body. The original clone body is terrible, and because of that, this one is a little bit higher on the list than some of the others. Then coming in at the number 23 spot is Imperial Crosshair. This is a figure that I absolutely love, but unfortunately it just has a few flaws here and there. I think what it was trying to be, it was really good for what it was trying to be, but they just reused a lot of pieces from the original Crosshair figure that are inaccurate to the Imperial version. For example, the big shoulder pad, the belt, the legs, stuff like that. They're just not accurate to the Imperial figure, and because of that, I gotta put him a little bit lower on the list. I love the design, I love the black and green, it looks incredible, but just a few of those pieces on him, like the shoulder pad, and it still has the 99 imprint on the armor, just because they decided to reuse those pieces, it just makes it inaccurate, so I had to put it a little bit lower. And also coming in at the number 22 spot to do with inaccuracies is Boss. I absolutely love Boss. He's an incredible figure. I'm a huge Delta Squad fan, and I really hope to get the rest of Delta Squad one day, but man, I love Boss so much. But the only problem is they reuse the Hunter body, which is an awesome body. It's just not as bulky as it should be for a Commando. Commanders have big, bulky armor, and Hunter doesn't, and so them reusing that armor just isn't accurate. I think it holds up, it's doable, it works for what it is, but it's just not accurate. And I love the figure, and I wish I could put him higher, but I just can't, unfortunately. Coming in at the number 21 spot is actually the 187th Battalion Trooper, which is the new Walgreens exclusive. This figure has yet to release, but like I said, it's on the new clone body, so we already know what the figure is going to be like. It's just the paint apps we have to judge, and the original photos for this looked pretty cool. It was a weird, dark red, burgundy, maroon color, but then we actually got photos in hand at Star Celebration, and those dark red, maroon, burgundy colors turned into a poop brown color. I don't know what happened between the promo shots and the in-hand shots, but the in-hand shots just looked not as good. They looked like a poop brown. It didn't look good. And so because of that, I had to put it a little bit lower on the list. I cannot wait to get it in hand, but for those original promo shot photos, it just did not look very good. Coming in at the number 20 spot, I actually gave it to Omega. This figure is pretty awesome. It's, the first kid clone that we got in the line, and it does really well. I just think that they could have given him or her some better accessories. They gave her this weird animal thing that was in one scene of the Bad Batch. I mean, cool idea, but you should have given her AZ, the droid. I think that would have been so much better, and plus, it's a small figure, so paying full price, $25 for a figure, it's got to come with some good accessories, and I think they should have given her the droid with it. Coming in at the number 19 spot, I actually gave it to Tech from the Bad Batch. This one is a pretty cool figure, mold wise, paint apps wise, it's pretty solid. It's an awesome figure. Biggest problem is the helmet. They just decided to keep the eyes straight yellow and not give him goggles. So when the helmet is on, you can't really see his eyes. That's one big part about his helmet. In the show, you can see his eyes through the helmet. But then if you decide to take off the helmet, he doesn't have the goggles, and so it does not look like Tech. Tech always wears the goggles, and so with the figure without the goggles, it just looks so weird, and it just makes it almost impossible to display without the helmet. Coming in at the number 18 spot, I gave it to the new 212th Trooper. This figure is pretty solid. I'm a huge fan of the 212th design, and it's on the new clone body, so because of that, it got a little bit higher up than the original one. But yeah, overall, paint apps are nice, they're clean, and it looks awesome, so it did get a higher spot on the list. Coming in at the number 17 spot, I gave it to Wrecker from the Bad Batch. Wrecker is an awesome figure. He's a deluxe figure, which he shouldn't be a deluxe figure. He's obviously a bigger, bulkier character, but he's not big enough to charge an extra $5, $6, $7 for. So because of that, he did get a little bit lower. But I think the biggest problem is they molded in the scar on the side of his face. That scar is a big feature and part of his character. but they didn't paint it. Like it's his same skin tone as the rest of his head, and it looks really weird. They like molded it in and then decided not to paint it, and it just came out really weird. I think everything else of the figure is great, but they just left that scar blank, and it looks weird. To give the 16th spot to the 332nd Trooper. This one was a pain to get because it was a Walmart exclusive. The pre-orders did not go up right, and it was impossible to find in store. I'm lucky enough to get him, but yeah, honestly, overall, an awesome figure. The paint apps on the helmet are great. It's the perfect color. I know the original promo shots were kind of scary. They weren't really the right color, but in hand, they are the right color, so really happy about that. And overall, I'm a huge fan of that new clone body, too. So 332nd came out great. Coming in at the number 15th spot, I gave it to the 13th Battalion. This is another figure that is yet to be released, but like I said, it's on that new clone body, so we know what it's going to be like in person. We just got to judge the paint apps, and I love the paint apps on this. I love the design of the 13th Battalion. It's like a 212th, but a little bit of a lighter yellow, and then it has different cool angles. It's just much cooler than the 332nd in my opinion. I love how it came out, and I cannot wait to get this one in hand. Coming in at the number 14 spot, I give it to Clone Pilot Hawk. This one is an awesome figure. It is on the Rex body. This is by far the best body is the Rex body, I gotta say. It has amazing articulation. It looks really good. And the biggest problem for Hawk is that he had quality control issues when he first came out. His nose piece on his helmet was always crooked or broken, and it just had bad quality control issues. Looking back now, I gave it a lot more hate than it really deserved because Hawk is an awesome figure. I love the pilot design, and I decided to bump him up on this list a lot more from last year's list, but, you know, he still is definitely not top 10 because the rest of these figures are pretty good. We have the number 13th spot, I gave it to the Clone Shock Trooper. This is obviously on the new clone body. Actually, it's the Imperial Clone Shock Trooper to be specific, but this is the one from the Bad Batch line. This one is awesome. I love the red pauldron. It just looks awesome. It looks incredible, and you know, whenever this guy first released, they didn't put much glue on the pauldron, so you could just take a hairdryer to it and pop off the pauldron if you wanted to, and then you had a basic clone shock trooper, which, you know, they hadn't ever released except for that expensive Order 66 4-pack, so that was another option to get some more basic clones like the Clone Shock Trooper. So really, really excited that this one was a thing, and it definitely deserved a higher up on the list just because of how awesome it is. Coming in the number 12 spot, I actually gave it to Hunter. I know the Hunter body gets a lot of hate for being a rip-off Commando body, but it's accurate to Hunter, and for Hunter it works great. Awesome body, great articulation, and overall it is a solid figure. I love how they managed to merge the animated versus the live action version of Temuera Morrison, and it came out great. I think the tattoo down the middle of the face looks awesome as well, and I just love Hunter's character here, so yeah, really, really love how this figure came out. But it does have a few problems here and there, so it is a little bit lower on the list. You know, the number 11 spot is the Kamino Clone Trooper. This is one that I absolutely love. It was the first ever Clone Trooper on the new clone body, and it's incredible. The paint apps are awesome. Obviously, the new clone body has great articulation, but I don't know what it is about it. I just like this one a whole lot more than I've liked some of the newer clones on the new clone body. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love that Kamino Clone Trooper. I love the gray colors. It just looks awesome, and plus the logo on the side of his shoulder pad too looks incredible as well. You know, it's just little logos and stuff like that that add just not much to the figure, but it makes it so much cooler. For breaking the top 10, coming in at the number 10 spot, I gave it to Crosshair. Crosshair is honestly one of the best figures from the Bad Batch. I know we barely even got him for one episode before he turned evil, but I love his armor. I think he's, like I said, one of the better armor versions of the Bad Batch that we've gotten. I think his armor looks the cleanest. It looks sharp. It looks scary. It's awesome. And it just looks cool. And then obviously with the helmet underneath, we do have that mix between the Temuera Morrison and the animated, and it looks awesome. It definitely reminds me of what Crosshair looks like in the show, and I really, really like it. In the number 9 spot, I gave it to the 501st Jet Trooper. This one is a GameStop exclusive, and it's on the new Rex body, actually, which is awesome. Like I said, Rex body is by far the best clone body, so I'm really happy that we got that one on the Rex body. But the paint apps are incredible. It has a jetpack as well. The jetpack is awesome. Biggest problem is that it doesn't come with the rocket launcher, but other than that, the figure is incredible. Great articulation, amazing paint apps, and it's awesome. Coming in at the number 8 spot, I gave it to the last member of the Bad Batch, Echo. This figure is awesome. I don't know what else to say. It has a brand new mold, almost head to toe. It looks incredible. The helmet can pop off. I love the malnourished Temuera Morrison face. It looks great, and it perfectly describes what Echo looked like in the Bad Batch. I love the helmet. Like, the helmet has the earpiece built into it, and it like goes around his head there. Great engineering by Hasbro to make that work. I wasn't sure how they're going to do it, and they found a way, and it looks awesome. And then obviously he has a screwdriver hand too, which just looks incredible. I wish it could spin, but it doesn't. But other than that, it's an like 10 out of 10 figure. It's really awesome. Coming in at the number 7 spot is actually Clone Commander Wolffe. This is the highest figure on the list on the old clone body. Obviously this one articulation's poor. It kind of sucks, not gonna lie. But the paint apps are great. It does have that old clone body paint app style, which is awesome. Love that paint style. It has a brand new Phase 2 Recon helmet, like stealth helmet. That helmet looks awesome. It's the first time that's ever been used, and so far it's the last time. Hopefully they use that again with some other figures, but his custom helmet is incredible. But he has a removable helmet. This is the first time that we've actually had a removable helmet on this list so far, and I love the scarred Temuera Morrison face underneath. You have his like missing eye, and it's super cool. The scar is badass. It looks awesome. Like, awesome figure overall. Do wish the articulation was better, but underneath the helmet is where it counts, and it looks awesome. Coming in at the number 6 spot is actually Commander Bly. I love Commander Bly so much. He's an amazing figure. Another figure on that Rex body. Rex body is incredible, but this one somehow managed to get all of the detail and the paint apps and the weathering. For a newer figure, this one came out in 2020. For a newer figure, it's incredible that the amount of detail and paint apps they were still able to do, because, a few months later, all the clones didn't have that. So this is the last figure that we got that had all the detail and paint apps and scuffing and weathering, and it looks incredible. Unfortunately, no removable helmet, but we did get a brand new helmet piece with a rangefinder and a brand new pauldron piece too. It's awesome. Breaking the top 5, I gave it to Bad Batch Rex. If you guys know me, you guys watch the channel, you know I'm a huge Captain Rex fan, especially with the Black series, and Bad Batch Rex is an awesome figure, and it's a great Rex if you don't have the original Rex, but it just doesn't live up to original Rex. Like, the paint apps aren't as good, the helmet's not as good. It is obviously missing the blue pauldron as well, so it's a cool figure, but it just doesn't live up to the original Rex's standards. But one thing I will give it is it gave it silver welding instead of the bronze welding. The Rex's bronze welding, it just looks a little weird. It's like it shouldn't be bronze, and somehow they made it bronze for some reason. But the newer Bad Batch Rex made it silver, and it looks a lot better. But like I said, the rest of the paint apps just don't live up to standard Rex. Number 4 is a figure that really surprised me. This one, I wasn't expecting to be that good. I don't know why, but it kind of came out of nowhere for me, and it made it into the top 5, and I'm really happy about that. It's actually the Umbra ARC Trooper from the Gaming Greats line. This figure is based off Battlefront 2, one of the ARC Trooper selectable styles in that game, but it looks incredible. The paint apps on this are like 10 out of 10, amazing. I know some people were complaining about the paint apps, but I absolutely love it. The yellow and the black just work so good together, and it looks incredible. And plus, it has all of the amazing features that the ARC Trooper body has, and I love that. It came out great, and it's one of my favorite figures. I really wanted to put it higher, but I just couldn't see myself doing that. Breaking the top 3, this is one that was actually not on the rest of my figure lists, but some people in the comments said that I had forgotten it, so I decided to put it on this list, and it is actually the San Diego Comic-Con version of Rex. And you might be saying, well, that is the exact same version as the standard Rex, just different packaging. Well, that is technically true. There is one difference, and that is the face. The standard Rex has the photoreal, and the San Diego Comic-Con Rex does not. And so because of that, he didn't score as high. Other than that, it's the exact same figure. Same articulation, same paint apps. Everything is the same. It's just the face. The San Diego Comic-Con version has just the standard paint, as the Redbox version has the photoreal, and it looks incredible. But I gotta give the packaging some credit. The San Diego Comic-Con Rex packaging is incredible. by far one of the best Black Series packagings we've ever got. It looks incredible. It looks awesome. I do wish they find a way to re-release this Rex in the future because it is awesome. Coming in the number 2 spot, I gave it to ARC Trooper Echo. I am a huge ARC Trooper fan, and ARC Trooper Echo is no disappointment at all. Paint apps are incredible. It looks almost exactly the same as ARC Trooper Echo showed up in the show. It looks awesome, and he has a removable helmet. He has that amazing Temuera Morrison face underneath. It looks awesome. That matched with the articulation of the new clone body on that ARC Trooper armor, it's awesome. 10 out of 10 figure. And then a bonus is it came in the classic 2008 Clone Wars packaging. It is just a to die for figure. 10 out of 10. Everything is great about it. There is nothing wrong in my opinion. And it even came with all the weapons. It came with the pistols, the rifle, and the standard blaster. Like, ARC Trooper Echo is just incredible. From the paint apps to the accessories to the packaging, perfect Black Series figure in my opinion. Coming in at the number 1 spot, you guys have already heard me mention him several times before, but I gotta give number 1 to Redbox Rex. Rex, by far, is the best Black Series figure ever. Not a question. Like, not even just the best clone, just best Black Series figure ever. In my opinion, no question to it. He has amazing articulation, he has amazing paint apps, he has really great weathering and detail. He does have the removable helmet with, to be honest, better photoreal than some of the newest figures that are coming out. Like, his photoreal is one of the oldest photoreal figures, but it is amazing. It's so much better than some of that, like, newer photoreal. It's really weird. The new figures suffer from the shiny face syndrome, whereas the classic Rex does not, and I absolutely love it. This one has a lot more paint apps than the Bad Batch Rex as well, and that extra paint apps, all that stuff really pushes it up to the number 1 spot. And plus, I don't know what it is, but just the feel of the plastic. It feels really good quality. It feels high quality. It feels like it should be worth a lot more than $22. And because of that, it definitely deserves the number 1 spot. Comment down below what you guys would change on the list, and I'll see you guys in the next one.